Hello and welcome to HBM's Crypto-Corner for Wednesday, November 16th, 2022. We have a couple of things to talk about, so let's get started. First of all, an interesting article on Lauren Coleman from Maine Magazine. Lauren Coleman and the Radical Field of Cryptozoology. How a young boy with an inquisitive mind grew up to become an author, museum director, and professional Bigfoot hunter. Coleman with artist Jeff Irvin's life-size Yeti head Frosty. The real stories of Yetis and abominable snow people are Coleman's first love in cryptozoology. His connections to his own Cherokee and Scottish roots make him aware of how everyone's ancestry is linked to their cryptid legacies. Meet Lauren Coleman, executive director of the world's only international cryptozoology museum, which he founded in Portland in 2003. He is known as the world's most popular living cryptozoologist, cryptozoology being the study of hidden, unknown species that are yet to be verified in the field of zoology. Coleman has done over 60 years of boots-on-the-ground fieldwork tracking Bigfoot, and he also has 40 books under his belt, plus a memoir in the works. As of late, Coleman has been pursuing a new adventure, this time in Bangor. It's an even bigger museum and bookstore that will also be a home for his archive of over 100,000 books on natural history, ufology, parapsychology, and cryptozoology. I talked to Coleman about a lifetime of tracking and sometimes finding the invisible. How do you think people see you, and how do you want to be seen? Most people don't know I'm male. They hear the name Lauren and they think I'm Lauren. I'm talked about online as she, as her. I have a not real deep voice. I present myself the way I am, which is calm, self-spoken, with a whole history of pacifism as a conscientious objector. I have a degree in psychiatric social work, was senior researcher at the M&S Muskie School of Public Service from 1983 to 1996, and I'm a baseball dad. That's the most important to me. A lot of my decisions have been based on where my kids are and how much time they need with me. Cryptozoology is the passion that eventually grew into my job, so to speak. Do you believe in Bigfoot? I believe in nothing, and I'm open-minded to everything. The evidence that I see, the tracks, the hair samples, the animals that are preyed upon, those are all the physical evidence. I don't get into the paranormal, and I'm more into my philosophical internal clock or network of taking information in. I don't investigate a Bigfoot report and believe that report. Instead, I accept or deny the evidence. I really am very cautious of the two different ends of the continuum. Both can be very confusing to the excluded middle that I occupy. There are people who accept everything. They hear a noise in the woods and they think it's a flying demon or a dragon or a thunderbird or a Bigfoot. And on the other end, there are the debunkers, the skeptics with a big S. If someone comes along and says, that's foolishness, or those replicas that you have at the museum are toys, it doesn't bother me. I know why I have them. It's to represent what they might look like and ask witnesses, is that near to what you saw? I use them as measuring sticks for people to compare their experience with. I really don't put a lot of energy into arguing with people, and I'm absolutely not evangelical about cryptozoology. Rather, my brain needs to be stimulated and filled with passion, with different stories, with different experiences. I don't smoke, I don't take drugs, I have cryptozoology, it's everything I need. I was called a radical within a radical field, and that makes me comfortable, that makes me happy. Cryptozoology in Maine involves frequent sightings of mystery cats and less so Bigfoot. Coleman with a replica of an authentic elongated skull from Peru. Cone-shaped skulls found in the Paracas region of Peru by Peruvian archaeologist Julio Tello have become tied to claims that they belong to aliens, and their association with Illuminati signaling covering one eye has propelled them into modern conspiracy theory. Coleman in his library of 100,000 plus books at the Bangor Archives. Here he is consulting his mentor Ivan T. Sanderson's book, Abominable Snowman Legend Come to Life. Tell me how you were once a kid who grew up to be a professional Bigfoot hunter. I read all the time when I was young, more than anybody else in my family. In the late 1950s, I was reading a lot of Roy Chapman Andrews. He was an explorer with the American Museum of Natural History. He went to the Gobi Desert to discover dinosaur fossils. There was Raymond Ditmar, the herpetologist who wrote books on snakes. And of course, there was Jane Goodall. I was interested in the subject of natural history, but also the individuals who were exploring very much interested me. In March of 1960, in Decatur, Illinois, I watched a film that very much captured my imagination. It was a Japanese science fiction horror film called Half Human or Beastman Snowman. The director was Ishiro Honda, who also did Godzilla and Rodan, and I found out he had been a documentary filmmaker for years before he got into science fiction films. I went to school the next week after seeing this movie twice and asked my teachers, "What is this?" And of course, there were no books on the abominable snowman. There were no, cryptids. My teachers told me that these creatures don't exist, to go back to my homework and to leave them alone. And so that, of course, instilled in me a desire to find out everything I could. Let's talk about that famous video clip of Bigfoot. What's your take on that clip? October 20th, 1967. That's when the film was taken. And now, with NASA quality computer enhancement, you can see features in the film. There's a lot about the film that people missed in the first decade or two. Now you can see there's muscle movement in the back of the legs. The muscles contract. A lot of people, when they first saw that film of Bigfoot, they would say, he did this, or he went that way, and he crouched over. With more developed technology, it didn't take too long for people to looking more closely to see that this is a female. She has breasts. They move. So the most revealing of all the hoaxes of Bigfoot is that it had been male. That's something that I've documented. Bigfooters used to be male, and now it's gender diverse, but most of the men who write those books cannot bring themselves to talk about a female Bigfoot. They talk about males only. But I was trying to document the genders and the sexual evidence in the field, and it got me into all kinds of trouble. I shook them up. I was called gay for doing it. I was called a radical within a radical field, and that makes me comfortable. That makes me happy. So, a very interesting article on Lauren Coleman. Good stuff. Very fair article, I would say. Very fair interview. Finally, video. Bigfoot filmed in Tennessee. And here's the video in question.
Do you see that? Do you see that? I'm afraid. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Valerie, do you see that? Do you see it?
Okay, and why only 28 seconds, and why pan away from it? The cameraman should have kept the camera on it. Very suspicious. An odd video circulating online shows a sizable bipedal creature with inordinately long arms lurking at the edge of a forest in Tennessee. And while some suspect that the figure could be Bigfoot, others argue that it is a Halloween-inspired hoax. The footage was reportedly filmed late last month by a man on his property in the community of Silver Point. In the video, a large dark shape can be seen emerging from behind a tree as the bewildered witness asks aloud, "Do you see that?" He is then stunned to observe the creature move away from the tree and out into the open and slowly venture back into the forest. Of particular interest in the footage is the remarkable length of the creature's arms, which actually caused the witness to exclaim, "Oh my gosh," when the bipedal figure moved from tree to tree by grasping at them in an almost ape-like fashion. When he later recounted the sighting, the witness said he initially thought the eerie interloper was someone pulling a prank on him, but the way in which the oddity moved made him doubt that assessment. Frightened by what he was seeing, the witness explained that he brought his daughter, who had been nearby, back to their house. Then he returned to the scene with a gun, but the creature was nowhere to be found. The footage initially elicited wonder from Sasquatch enthusiasts who marveled that the figure's long arms could be proof that it is a genuine cryptid of some kind. However, serious doubts were soon raised after diligent Bigfoot researchers uncovered a social media photo of the witness from this past Halloween, and the individual happened to be standing alongside someone dressed in a Grim Reaper costume that matches the size and shape of the Sasquatch. Additionally, the getup included long, bony arms, which would account for the peculiar physical characteristics seen in the video. Alas, barring an incredible coincidence, the most likely explanation for the footage is that it is almost certainly a hoax. Very interesting. I'll give y'all another look at the video.
Do you see that? Do you see that? I'm afraid. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Valley, do you see that? Do you see it?
And again, it's suspicious that he would that he would wave away, he would go away from it, rather than keeping his camera on it. If you've got the best footage of Sasquatch that you can get, you need to keep the camera on it. Don't pan away from it. Yeah, I'm starting to think this is probably a hoax put together by this guy. I mean, his reaction sounded genuine enough, but you know, good actors can make completely convincing witnesses, so-called witnesses. So, I don't know. This one's interesting, but I think it's probably a hoax. And that's going to do it for this week. I will not be here next week. I'll be taking the week off for Thanksgiving. Even though Thanksgiving is on Thursday, I'm just going to take the week off. But I will be back the week after. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. You guys are the Harless Show. I always say that, but I always mean it. I'll continue to do this as long as you guys want me to. And hey, until 2 weeks from now, y'all be good or be good at it. This is HBM's Crypto Corner.